Hi there, VC. It's Steve Whitty here. First video in over a week. This is going to be a recent vinyl LP or video. Excuse me. Clear the throat a bit. Bitly cold in the UK at the moment. I've got the day off work. We're suffering what's known the beast from the east, and basically, today I'm going to do very little apart from get a few supplies in and listen to music. I'm tied up my CDs, I think. But enough about my plans. As I said, this is a video on my recent vinyl LP finds, or really from my local shop. So this will be a quick one. So the first LP is The Farm, Spartacus. This came out in, I believe, 1991. This is very much an album of its time. The best known songs on here are Groovy Train and All Together Now. They were both hit singles. In fact, All Together Now is ended up as a bit of an anthem, very much in the baggy genre, indie, sort of indie pop. Band themselves were from Liverpool, but they got tagged into this Manchester scene. So I was pleased to pick that up. You know, get a 90s album for a couple of quid is quite pleasing. But as I said, it's very, very much an album of its time. They didn't really, apart from a cover of Don't You Want Me, they didn't really follow it up that well. You may have seen on previous videos that I'm quite a 10cc fan. So, and 10cc splits around 1976. Godley and Cream went off and did their own thing. So I was quite really pleased to find a couple of their albums. So this album is L, and I've got to be careful how I show this. There we go. And then the back is L, an L as well. Yeah, this came out, I believe, in 1970. Looking at it, 1978. Consequences, which was a triple album they released, absolutely flopped, and sort of dived for them. And this is I presume a more simpler affair. I have yet to listen to the album. They were the arty part of 10cc, so yes, it was also, I think, to be the last album they did for Mercury. They also managed to pick up this album. This is Freeze Frame, and this came out in. It's just recorded on the Polydor label. This came out, looking at this, in 1979. So this was the follow-up album to L. Probably the best known track on here is An Englishman in New York, and it's not so much for the song. It was the fact that they made their own video for it, and it was and Godley and Cream really became better known, particularly in the early 80s, as video makers rather than musicians. But yeah, pleased to have a couple of them now, so it fills up a hole. Very 80s rock, or late 70s, early 80s rock. Jefferson Starship. This is their Freedom at Point Zero, and it's got the hit single Jane. It's partly the reason I brought this. So yeah, pleased to pick up that. Now, during my childhood, there was one album that was the bane of my life, and that's partly because my sister owned it, played it to death, and it's not. She never owned that many records. She was never really into music. She had Adam and the Ants, Kings of the Wild Frontier. I think she had a couple of records, but this is one band that she absolutely adored. They big in 1983. She actually went and saw them. You know, she never went to concerts at that time. I had to get the tickets for her. stand in the queue. It was a bit embarrassing. So when this album came up in the shop, I said to Pete, you know what, this album is the bane of your life. It was the bane of my life. You know, forever being played. And he says, here, you might as well have it then. It's Kachiguda's White Feathers. Kachiguda, very much one of these manufactured bands where the record company EMI really pumped a lot into. Let's see if I can get the. Yeah, that's what they look like. And really, the focus was on Lamar, who was the lead singer. But there were all sorts of things. The bass player, Nick Beggs, where is he? Here he is. The press rumour that he washed his hair in fabric conditioner. I do remember that. And the problem was, well, they had a number one single with Too Shy and followed Uta BR. And Hang On Now were hit singles. But the problem was, you had a cute lead singer and you had four rather serious musicians in the band. And the big mistake wherever with bands of this ilk is once they start thinking themselves as serious musicians, it's always going to implode. They sacked the singer. It was big news at the time. And they carried on as Kachiguda, and then it became Kaja. In fact, Nick Beggs, he plays with Steve Hackett. He's really quite well respected in the prog field. You know, he won Prog magazine's Best Bassist of the Year. I think he's won that for the last few years, actually. So, my sister's watching this. I've now got the album. Pretzel Logic, Steely Dan. Slowly increasing my Steely Dan connection. This is quite a curious edition I've got here, because it does state it's on the ABC label, but it's in fact, in reality, it's ABC stroke MCA. So it's got the ABC catalogue number, but in fact it was actually issued on MCA. Now, I probably have to look a little bit more research on that. Maybe MCA. MCA may have taken over ABC. I'm not sure. I'm sure that people will be able to tell me, better clued up will be able to tell me about that. From the pound bins, and I'm taking a bit of risk because there's a bit of a scratch on this. DCs Sticks. This is Pieces of 8 from 1978. I think the track I know off here is Renegade. Do remember that as a child being played a lot. Yeah, so it adds to my Sticks collection. And then I was watching the Old Grey Whistle Test celebration on Friday night on British television, and one of the artists that interviewed was Toya Wilcox. This is her anthem album from 1981. This is where she really broke through. You've got the singles I Want to Be Free, It's a Mystery on here. Yes, it's she in 1981. She was all over the place, all over the news. She was a bit of a media darling. She's from Birmingham, and she was did local rock and pop programs on the BBC. But she really broke through stellar. It was really good. In a way, it was quite pleasing actually to see someone like Toya become famous. She's Mrs. Robert Fripp. She's been married to him for years. She still performs. Though I think she might have over-egged her audience. She was saying, one night I could be playing to 50 people, another night I could be playing to thousands, and I'm thinking, well, okay, if you say so. Final album in this batch is Steve Winwood's Arc of Drive. It's an album I've been meaning to get hold of. I've got it in the pound bin because, like people that have had pet cats, they tend to scratch the covers. This marked a bit of a comeback for him. After Traffic Splits, he did a solo album and Steve, I think an album called Steve Winwood, and sort of went quiet for years. It came out in 1980 on Ireland. Probably While You See a Chance was the big single on this. At this point, Winwood was writing with Vivian Stanshall, makes of the Bonzos, Dog Doodah Band, and it started to make a journey, come back, and obviously it culminated in Back in the High Life, which is now one I showed you not so long back. You're going to have to forgive if the light's been fading in and out. A bit windy out there, and I think with the snow and all that. But anyway, that's my recent LPs. There are going to be more videos. I might spend a day in between listening to music, recording videos. I've got a lot of CDs. I've got a really good single tour yesterday. And also there's Jeff Camplin, and I've got to sort out my contest, which finished. I've got to sort out how many entries I've got. So until the next video, VC, you look after yourselves. Stay warm if it's cold outside, and I'll speak to you soon. Keep spinning and keep smiling. Oh, I forgot to mention, if you're new to the channel and you liked what you see, click on the subscribe button. Cheers.